And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Men Who Talk Through Movies, the podcast where a bunch of guys get together, turn on a movie, and completely ignore it while they talk about life and daisies and painting nails and a bunch of other manly stuff that you're not going to get to hear because we're going to chop that stuff out. So today, to give you guys a quick introduction, we'll give formal introductions later. I'm here with Jeb, Blake, and Josh, and we're going to do this big segment all together. We're going to experiment with 4 people, see how it goes. Today we're watching How to Train Your Dragon. If you want to watch along with us, the best way to listen to this podcast, it is currently, as of this recording, on Netflix, or you can find it pretty much anywhere else. If you find a place that has ads, just pause us as the ads pop up. All right? So what you need to do is you need to pull up the movie, put it at the 0-second mark, and then when I tell you in just a moment, you're going to push play, and we're going to watch the whole thing together. Sound good? Everybody ready?
No.
Jeb, shut up. You're never ready.
Hey now, I am ready when it matters, and this just happens to not matter.
All right. We're going to do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play, and then we'll start the movie. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And there's the movie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, my first girlfriend turned into the moon.
What? I guess.
All right.
Let's kick off with the Avatar quotes, why don't we?
Well, no one finished it, so no one's going to know it's an Avatar quote.
All right, so you guys know Jeb. Say hello, Jeb.
Hello, I am the co-host.
Yes, and you know me. I'm Steven. I'm the co-host. If you guys have followed on the 1 Out of 1 podcast, you might remember Blake. Say hello, Blake.
Hello, Blake.
And also joining us from Australia is our good Australian Hispanic friend, Josh.
G'day, mates. G'day, mates. How are you? How are you going?
That's so weird coming from you, dude. All right.
Just weird for you. Just weird for you, man.
All right. So, Jeb, I don't remember if you were here for this, but the first time I saw this movie, we were on a mission.
World Changers?
Yes, it was World Changers,
yeah,
and we
I
were.
remember that time.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about that too.
So we were at this World Changers mission trip, and it was storming so much outside that we couldn't go to our work sites. And so what they did is they had a movie day inside for us, and they put on How to Train Your Dragon. And I went from thinking, it's another stupid Disney-like movie, to thinking this may be one of the best animated movies I've ever watched.
I agree. I had the same mindset. I was like, I don't want to watch this movie. This is going to be a stupid movie. I had no interest in watching this movie. Mm-hmm. Went out loving it. Noted we were bored the rest of the day because it was raining and we had nothing else to do the rest of the day. But we were able to fill 1 hour and 40 minutes of our day.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It is quite a movie, eh? It's quite good.
Yes. And now, we're going to save Blake for last on this one because I think out of all of us, Blake loves this movie the most. Josh, can you explain your first time watching this movie? What were some highlights, some things that like your emotions when you saw it? Just like the general stuff.
Just the general. To be honest, I don't remember the first time I watched this movie. When did this movie come out?
2000, was it 2000? It was somewhere between 2007 and 2010. I can pull it up and find out for certain.
Gosh. So to be honest, I probably saw this movie way after.
March 26th.
Oh, okay. Blake has it down.
Yeah, I mean this.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, Blake sporting the Louder with Crowder mug. Good job, dude.
That's how it is, man.
All right.
It was March 26th, 2010.
2010. Oh,
Yep.
Maybe. I don't think I saw it in the cinema by any means. Look, I think it's good. I actually I really enjoy the animation, particularly on it. I don't know. I like this style. Animation, every character has quite exaggerated features, which is quite fun. And as much as a lot of movie buffs don't really like narration, I do like Hiccup's his dialogue.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's pretty good.
I think it's one of the few times where this narration thing actually works, because you see it all the time in anime where they over-explain everything. At this moment, Killua is feeling a sense of panic. I don't know what to do. I'm panicking, and it's stupid. This is one of the few times where I think it actually works in movies, because it gives you information that you would not have gotten from the story, but that you need to understand the culture and the setting and give the movie more flavor.
Well, yeah, and he's not quite over explaining.
Right.
He's just giving you a little bit of background while we have jumped straight into the action.
Yes.
And it's a fun sequence at the beginning, but it also is clearly a commonplace sequence for the characters.
Right.
And
This is normal.
what else I love about the beginning is that I watched this YouTube video about a year or so ago from a guy named Sideways, and he goes through movies talking about the musical elements, and he said musically, this is probably the best opening in all of cinema, just because you hear all the little leitmotifs throughout the first like 5 minutes of this little intro.
Lay it out,
All right.
Jeb. Let them all know how good it is.
All right, everyone. It is such a great movie. Like, everyone should watch this. Your baby, your nephews,
All right,
your
shut up,
nieces,
Jeb. All
your
right,
child,
Blake, let us
your
know what you think
girlfriend,
about it.
your wife, your husbands, your cousins, your aunts, and your mom.
Does
Everyone
somebody
in your
have
life.
mute
Your
power?
dog. Your dog should watch this movie and learn to train your pets.
That's it.
Seriously, does somebody have mute ability over this guy?
I think Blake probably should. I can mute him individually.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying,
he's
no-
helping me right now, so it's good. Just wait till later, and then when you guys aren't helping me, then just
Yeah.
look out.
I just realized that I have so much power. Like, I can mute him on my end and you guys can hear him, but it would not go through the recording.
Oh, so
Aw.
good. So you just muted him for the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
Wow,
we're
thanks,
not going to
guys.
hear Jeb anymore.
Thanks, guys. I am the glue that holds these podcasts together. Without
Mate,
me,
okay.
Steven, I wouldn't have had the best moment in the Batman Begins podcast when I
This
was
man
working
has
out
a-
with Bruce Wayne.
Man has an
Okay.
overinflated view of
Yeah.
his part. You
Yeah.
know?
You know,
So
What happened to be
That-
part of a team?
yeah, that was all great. And you know what, Jeb? But the audience didn't hear any of that. So just
Well, that's
enjoy that.
awkward. That's
Blake, tell us why you like this movie. In short.
Yeah. So, yeah, oh gosh, I'm short. So this movie, it not only connects well with the culture that it tries to portray. It does fairly accurate with much of that. But it portrays a different kind of story. You've got the son of the chief, who's supposed to be the heir, and though you always hear that, well, I don't want to be that dad, I want to be something else. It's not that. It's not that kind of story. It's, I want to fit in, I want to do well, I want to succeed. No one gives me a chance.
Mhm.
I want to do something with these dragons, and everyone thinks I'm the weakling, I'm the sidelines, I'm the blah blah blah. But I'm supposed to take over one day. So how does this work?
Mhm.
And you see this journey of a battle with Hiccup. Not only trying different things, different methods, but seeing how that changes his perspective with the quote unquote antagonists of the movie, which are the dragons. So it's just
I'm so
an
sorry to
incredible
cut in.
story.
That scream that Hiccup makes when he's running away from the dragon is absolutely hilarious.
It absolutely is.
Who was the actor for Hiccup again?
Oh, what's his name?
I usually have a
What is
problem.
his name, Jeb?
Oh, well, if we look on our handy dandy IMDb, we will find out.
It's
That-
almost like Jeb agreed a while ago that he was going to have IMDb pulled up the whole time, and now he's researching IMDb.
I think this guy's looking for a sponsorship.
His
from
name is
IMDb.
Jay Baruchel. I'm probably butchering that, but you know what? I have dyslexia. I literally thought Night Fury on my subtitles said Nick Fury. So,
Been watching too
Yeah.
much Marvel recently.
actually, no. Except for Moon Knight. Moon Knight hits differently. Not gonna lie.
Can we
Or
just
Daredevil.
talk about how like the whole movie's plot is kickstarted by Hiccup, like just randomly shooting a crossbow with a net and it somehow hits its target?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like he tries, but it's not even like he suspected that it would work. He's like, I'm just going to try this. It sounds like it's coming from over here. Boom.
Yeah.
And it
And then it
works.
somehow works.
Yeah.
You know? Somehow he gets it.
And it just so happens to be the biggest, baddest dragon of them all.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's why I think it's rigged.
You think it's rigged?
Yep, this whole story's rigged. Of
Oh,
course,
boy.
Hiccup gets the biggest, baddest dragon. Of course, the protagonist
hate
gets
mail.
the all-powerful one. Of course, Hiccup is big and bad.
Yep.
Of course, Hiccup hits puberty in the second one.
Glad to know you're not at all jealous.
I was somewhat interested in you, and then you got to the second movie part about puberty, and I was like, I don't know where he's going with
I'm
this.
just
I'm
saying,
out.
Hiccup Neville Longbottomed us.
Okay. You know what? I'll actually give you that. That's a fair comparison.
Literally, Hiccup went from being a scrawny little nobody, and then all of a sudden, everyone's fangirling him over him because of the second design, just like Neville Longbottom was a nobody until the 8th movie.
Hey, basically, what all I'm hearing is that a beard does wonders when it comes to the ladies, and I can attest to that. My wife does enjoy my beird very much. So.
I would enjoy my beard.
Blake sees more results now that he has the beard.
All I'm saying is one day I got lazy and she said, "Hey, I like the beard," and I said, "Okay, I'm never shaving again."
Yeah. All right, we're never changing that for the rest of my life.
That's exactly right.
I mean, hey, he's got a kid. We know it worked at least once.
It did.
That's it.
Not all girls like beards. Just saying.
Okay,
right.
okay.
Whatever you gotta tell yourself to sleep at night, mate. Honestly.
Hey, my girlfriend likes me being clean shaven, so that's what she gets.
Well, that's what she says, of course, because you can't grow a beard. So
she literally told me before we went out for dinner tonight. She was like, "Please shave for my birthday. Your face is all prickly."
Hey, whatever the girl wants, that's what matters.
Whatever the girl wants.
Yeah.
I get in this weird, like, in between place because if my hair grows too long, it's so freaking coarse. You guys remember when our buddy Phil was giving out haircuts for free at Truett?
Man, I miss those
haircuts. Yeah, I do too. But he threw in a free shave with it, and as he was shaving my face, he's like, "Steve, your facial hair is so coarse, it dulled my blade."
It's beard oil.
And I did. It didn't work.
It doesn't work.
I had 4 products that I was using in my beard, and it didn't work. My face is evil, so if I let it grow too long, I want to claw it off my face. If I keep it too short, I give Brenna burns on her face.
Yeah, your wife wants to claw it off your face.
Yes. But if I got it clean shaven, I look like a middle schooler. I was actually mistaken. I was mistaken for a middle schooler one time. It was
at least you fit in with your kids at church.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy, oh my gosh. Okay, that moment right there. I forget what's the second in command's name.
Oh, I don't know, but he's beautiful.
Well, if we look on our handy dandy IMDb, I'm pretty sure, and according to my subtitles, his name is like Goober.
So he's like drinking his beer or grog or whatever, and he like winces because it touches his sensitive gum where he lost his tooth.
Yeah. And
then not 2 seconds later, he's hammering the tooth back into his face without any reaction at all.
Oh yeah. I love him so much. I really think he's one of the best characters.
Oh, he is. He's like the fun uncle, but he has a lot of heart. He reminds me a lot of Hagrid in many ways, in that sense of like he's funny, but he's also like not stupid. But he kind of has these little like goofy elements to him. But he's not just comic relief. He's got some depth to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I love that scene too because he's obviously good friends with Hiccup's dad, and they're struggling because Hiccup's dad is. You get this theme of like parental expectations. Like, I want my son to be this because my dad did this for me and told me this. And so I'm going to tell my son this. And it's like, well, maybe your son's his own person. Maybe your son is different. And he's fighting with that, but not much. He's like, he has to be what I expect him to be, what I want him to be. And so you see that here.
And something I've learned, I've known for a while, but like, you know, the older I get and the more that I get involved with the youth and with other people, the more that I realize for some cultures and subcultures, like it really is difficult to go against family because siding with family is such an integral part of certain cultures and certain groups. And it's like, for us here in the States, it may not be as big of a deal because we kind of see like this move away from family. Family's like a source of tension, but in other cultures and other countries, that's not always the case. In some cases, like your family is everything, and if you break away from family, then you are a disgrace to the family. And so that's kind of what I see when I watch this, because he starts off like he's trying to make his dad proud.
Mm-hmm.
And when he has to go against his dad, it's like this mortal blow on his spirit.
Yeah.
Like right here, he's
The
looking-
music.
This
He's
moment where
looking
he's like, I'm gonna cut
into-
your heart out and take it to my father is insane. 'Cause
Mhm.
it's like, no, that's not the vibe of this movie at all.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's actually a really powerful moment, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When Hiccup proves he's a bigger man than anyone in his village right here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Can we also talk about Toothless's expressions?
Mm-hmm.
Like Toothless is the most expressive character in the history of like animation.
Yeah. My favorite meme is the How to Train Your Dragon 3 meme when he's trying to
He's trying to flirt with the light
yeah,
fury.
when he's flirting with the light fury. That's my favorite
Hiccup's just
meme.
on the other side of the hill, like
Yeah, Hiccup's like thumbs up and everything.
yeah.
It's so funny, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of this over time, but like, this was DreamWorks' 19th feature film.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they had many before this. I mean, their first one was Ants, and it was atrocious.
Yeah.
So like, the founder of DreamWorks created DreamWorks when he left Disney, and was
That checks
basically like, I'm gonna make a better Disney. And then his first movie was Ants, and it came out like right before A Bug's Life.
Oh
And
no.
it was
Ooh.
just- oh yeah, and it was just it's terrible. But then their second film was The Prince of Egypt,
Hey.
I know. Oh
Yeah.
man.
and it was just so the contrast there is insane. But they kind of have like a little bit of an up and down road. And they of course have Shrek, and they have other hits like the Rodeo Dorado, and
Oh, so good.
some that did pretty good, but nothing as great as this film came out, unless arguably it could be Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
But
Or
I
Megamind.
still, animation style
Megamind, yeah.
and script story wise and music wise, I still think this movie takes it over Kung Fu Panda.
I agree, but Kung Fu Panda is my comfort movie.
Fair.
Me and my dad have this thing where we can have a favorite movie, and it doesn't matter how many times we watch it, we're still gonna love it. For some reason, and it's the only of two films that are this way for us. It's The Magnificent Seven and the first Kung Fu Panda. I think the second one is better, but for some reason, it's just a comfort film. Can turn it on and fall asleep. Can turn it on and watch it for serious.
All right, so the great subject. Everybody, what's your favorite comfort film? We know Steven's. What are y'all's?
Mine is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know why. Like the first 30 minutes while blows up Aunt Marge, goes to Hogwarts, and him being at Hogwarts, and then them goofing off in the common room, that immediately puts a smile on my face, and I forget, oh, we're about to be super sad here soon, but I don't care. The moment is there of me feeling joyous.
Absolutely.
I'm totally gonna force a reason for you guys to watch on YouTube, not you audience people, but you guys, the dudes. I'm going to part my hair down the middle and show it off to the YouTube audience.
Why?
Why?
Nobody
Because-
wants to see that.
But do they?
Just like no
Because-
one wanted to see you with a black head of hair.
That
No.
was
Hey,
glorious.
I love his
Well,
black
guys,
hair.
guys, y'all don't have to. You don't have to affirm and comfort Steven. We all didn't want it.
Bring it back today, Steven.
kinda-
Go buy
I
some
kinda
dye,
wanted
my
it.
friend.
You see,
No one
kinda
wanted
okay.
it.
See, here's the thing. The people who were there when it happened loved it. Everybody else either hated it or lied to my face.
Well,
No. Everybody lied to your face. You're just telling yourself. No.
Well, Steven, as your best friend, I would never lie to you.
I use that photo sometimes, one of the black-haired photos, to occasionally embarrass my youth group students, and it's beautiful.
Very nice.
They bring a friend. I'm like, oh, hey, guys, I'm glad. Hey, look, I'm glad that she brought you. Welcome to the group. By the way, this is me with black hair. And I just watch their faces drop.
I'm not gonna lie.
Why is the dragon teacher coming down on this guy for knowing all of the numbers and strengths of the dragons? He's supposed to know that.
That's me playing Dungeons and Dragons. What are y'all?
I know, and
talking
then the
about?
other's like, "You stop!" And it's like, no, they need to know this.
A doctor.
What's the first thing you need? A doctor plus 5 speed?
Also D&D jokes. What do
Yeah.
you need in life to survive? +5
Plus
stealth.
5 speed. I mean, yeah.
An intelligence of greater than 12.
Or charisma +20.
There you go.
20.
All right, guys.
Okay, so
what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna go back to comfort movies. I was gonna list mine.
Yeah, that's right.
This is worth mentioning. Jeb, you almost had me. Like, that one is one of my comfort movies. But my all time, if it's on, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm gonna watch it from wherever I find it to the end. Is A Knight's Tale.
Oh,
Which we
that
do
was
need.
not what I was thinking.
Yeah, I need
Heath
to.
Ledger at his peak.
You're right.
It is emotional. It is funny. It is poignant. It is awesome.
I do think we are going to put that one on the list. I need to watch it, but I think we're going to put it on the list of movies that we're going to do.
I thought
Definitely,
you were
I will
going
be
to say
there.
the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Good movie.
Jeez.
Good movie.
No, because when we were rooming together, Steven, anytime he was feeling sick or anything, and maybe that's your go-to sick movie, because you normally put that on when you were sick.
That's true. That's true. It's been interesting over the past few years. I've grown away from that. I think I watched it so much when I was younger that I just burnt myself out on it.
Mm-hmm.
So now my sick day movie is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Nice.
There you go.
Not a bad choice.
Oh yeah, the question that was
Yeah.
just brought up. The dragon teacher was saying a dragon won't hesitate to kill.
Yeah.
And then he asked the question, why didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, main character learns a specific detail about dragons only to immediately in the past or directly in the future confront a exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, did you give a comfort movie?
Oh yeah, Josh, what's your comfort movie?
Yeah. Man. Actually, if you guys had asked, I was going to say I needed to think about it. I'm still thinking about it, to be honest.
Josh, you had 3 people's worth of describing it.
All right. Okay. All right. I tell you what, we'll come back to it. Josh, take your time to think. Okay. Everybody, if he doesn't come up with a movie by the time we finish this next bit, he needs severe admonishment. Okay. We need to banish him from the group. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm facing banishment.
Yes. All right.
So this is such a sad scene because you see, you see Toothless, which we don't know him as Toothless yet, but
right.
You see him in this shock and anger from having freedom, and he runs away. But then you find out that he's trapped. He can't leave, and so it's just such a sad moment watching him fly around and try to escape and get frustrated, and crash to the ground. Just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it really gives it gives Toothless character. It shows the deep emotions that we know animals feel.
Yeah. Grr.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, the Toothless stares.
Neither of them knows what to think of the other, which makes it such an interesting moment as well.
Yeah. All right, so we've not entirely been wanting to do this, but kind of have been. It's been a few weeks, but the good comedian and all-around hilarious actor Gilbert Gottfried has passed away, and this is very sad for us because, we've loved him. The big thing that you've known him from is Iago. But he's also done some hilarious comedy bits. He's a master celebrity roaster. If you don't mind a little language and sexual humor, he hilariously roasts Roseanne Barr. But since he has passed away, we decided we're going to do some parting jokes in his honor and to keep some memory. Would anybody like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You got it, my dude.
Cool.
Yep, it's all you, buddy.
All right.
That's all you.
Well, it turns out that this movie was actually a very famous movie, as you guys know, and it's very popular with Gilbert Gottfried. And so, of course, quoting him as accurately and, of course, definitely something that he would say. I would like to take a moment to quote one of my favorite lines from the How to Train Your Dragon movie. I would like to take a moment to quote from my favorite character who gives the heart and soul to the film. From the lovable genius, Toothless. Ah! That is all. Please quit inviting me to this godforsaken podcast. I am dead, and leave me this way.
Respect, you know.
Guys, I feel like I just saw a ghost.
Yeah, like, guys, I feel like we shouldn't even try to make jokes in his honor anymore. That was just too scary and well done.
That was it, man. That was it. Yeah,
That was it.
That was the final one.
That was it?
I will say, in honor of him, I will list a few of my favorite roles.
Okay.
Because I'm bad with coming up jokes on the spot.
That's fine.
But one of my favorite roles that I did not, other than Iago, because everyone knows him as Iago.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him as the Aflac duck, or he was for a time. But one of my favorite roles that I didn't realize it was him until I rewatched it last summer was he was the dentist from the Fairly Odd Parents who was trying to steal Chip Skylark's teeth.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so freaking amazing that I didn't realize that. So, Gilbert Gottfried, respect. Thank you for making my childhood awesome.
Yeah, what Jeb said.
Now, y'all can't just take my stuff. You can't take my stuff or my likeness. I can sue for that.
Fine. Here it is. You ready? Tell yourself. Thanks for being a parrot and a dentist.
Well, Blake, those were such beautiful words. You forgot the duck, but I'll allow it.
Hey,
Funny
these
thing,
are
he
just
was-
the ones that meant a lot to me.
Oh, of
Just
course,
saying.
of course. Ah,
Funny thing is he wasn't the duck for very long. He actually got fired.
oh,
He got fired because after a tsunami in Japan, he made a joke about it, like almost immediately after it, and so they fired him and then hired somebody to mimic his voice, and that's
Wow.
who we've heard ever since then.
oh.
Oh, dang. So I just looked him up, and I've seen that he played a role in Sharknado 4.
He did.
No, I'm sorry, Sharknado, is it 4? The last one. It's about time.
The film masterpiece that is Sharknado 4.
Sharknado, it's about
Steven,
time.
I
Phenomenal
implore,
film.
I implore, Steven, that we do all of the Sharknado movies.
Please.
Maybe over
please.
time, but we'll definitely do the first one. We got to make sure there's interest for it.
The first one is the most epic.
Oh, the
It
first
really
one.
is.
So
Because
good.
it's because it's the concept's birth, you know?
Yeah.
And all the subsequent
True.
movies, we just see repetition of the first movie's concept.
But we also see, what's the...
Doesn't Mark Cuban come in the second one?
I'm sure he does.
Probably.
There's always like some celebrity that jumped in with the other sequels.
There's always a cameo of somebody who's going to die really, really quickly.
I think in the second or third one, the guy who used to do stuff for like Subway, like promo for Subway, did a cameo, which is a bit unfortunate in hindsight.
Just a little bit. Josh, what's your comfort movie?
Oh, no.
So
That's
another
again.
thing about this movie that I love is that, I mean, like in the intro when he's doing his narration, you see like Astrid take out a dragon or go for a dragon, and you know the big explosion behind her, and she like sways and walks, the like whole stereotypical like cute girl thing.
Yeah.
At least in some sense or another, and then we find out very quickly that Astrid is not the cute girl down the street. Like she's not the girl next door. She is like strong and strong-willed, and she doesn't really want to give Hiccup the time of day because she doesn't feel like he takes any of this seriously.
Mhm.
And so it's just so interesting to see, though he likes her because of those qualities, like they don't get along for most of the film because he's exploring this new thing and she's trying to survive and sees him as the next chief, and it's like, how can I follow this kind of weak leader? Like, what does that mean for our clan? What does that mean for et cetera, et cetera? So it's so interesting to turn even that stereotype on its head in this film.
What's also interesting about it is, like, he doesn't seem like it at first, but he is a strong male character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, his strength is different than that of the rest of the clan, but he is a strong male character. And one of the things I appreciate about DreamWorks is they have so many strong male characters. Disney has really moved away from these big positive male characters, and they're really just focusing on stronger female characters. DreamWorks.
Well, Steven, that's because manhood is bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, Steven, didn't you know
bad.
that? Because Steven, didn't you know that you, me, and Blake are the problems in society?
What about Josh?
Because we are white males?
Oh.
He's
partial.
Okay.
Josh is partially white. He's half the problem.
Oh, no. No. You see, Josh is okay, though. Because he has some POC in him, so he's fine. He's excluded.
This is taking a very weird turn.
But you, me, and Blake are the problems of society, being straight, white, Christian males.
True.
I feel like that's an extremist point of view, which...
Oh, really? Then tell everyone on my Facebook and Twitter that.
Jeb has had experiences.
Jeb has had so many experiences.
Then again, I did grow up in Effingham County, where our mascot was a rebel, and our fight song was
funny.
Dixie.
Very nice.
That's so true of, like, Effingham.
It really is.
Toothless
So
trying
Steven,
to...
you were saying that Hiccup is a strong male character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's really interesting to me. Like, as soon as Astrid, we'll get to this when it happens, but as soon as Astrid notices that he's a strong character and that he's a strong leader of a man, she follows him instantly.
Mm.
But it takes some convincing because he is so different.
I think it's an interesting point that she asks him in that scene, "Is this a joke to you?"
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Hiccup is clearly incompetent. You know, he's shown us nothing but his incompetence in the way that they want to, the way that they live in their society.
Yeah,
he doesn't operate that way.
Right.
So it's like, no, it's clearly not a joke to him. He wants to be, like them, but he is not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is interesting how she does follow him when, as soon as everybody sees that, his way is going to work and is going to be more successful than their way, then everybody jumps on board.
Yeah.
I love this little part of them getting to know
Toothless
each
walking
other.
away on his hind legs is amazing.
Entire
I can
scene
do
is
it too.
great.
Yeah, because Toothless is supposed to be like a blend between a dog and a cat, if I remember correctly. Because he's got some qualities of different animals here and there.
Yeah, like we kind of missed talking about it, but the moment a few maybe minutes ago when he's trying to first come up to Toothless, and Toothless turns around the other way, sits down, puts his tail in front of him, and flaps his little tail wing out so he can't see Hiccup. Like,
Yeah.
You could argue either way, but I've had plenty of dog experiences like that. When a dog is one of my dogs is being sassy and turns the other way and faces away from me because I didn't pet him, or I didn't want him, I didn't want to snuggle him for a minute, or he just felt a certain way about things in the moment. Like, that's such a pet thing to do, and it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, and here comes the moment that every trailer had.
Yep.
I mean, it really is one of the most touching scenes
Stockholm
ever.
Syndrome about to take effect.
I don't know.
Ready?
I don't know if it's quite Stockholm Syndrome.
Now.
If you didn't know from the trailer this was going to happen, it's happening.
Yeah.
To quote Michael Scott, "Oh my gosh, guys, it's happening! It's happening!"
That was a big moment of trust for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like both of them know that each of their, either them personally with Toothless or someone related to them with Hiccup, they've had violence committed on both sides. So that moment was, it had to have mutual trust. It wasn't just Toothless accepting it. It was, okay, he's either going to accept my touch or he's going to bite off my hand.
Yep.
Mhm.
And going
And
back to what you were, oh, sorry, Blake, but going back to what you were saying, you know, the pain on both sides of their kind, it even shows whenever he's first trying to meet, like, give him the fish. Toothless would not allow him to do that unless he threw away his knife into the water.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, because what a lot of people don't understand is there are two sides when it comes to war, which this movie shows that there are two sides to war.
Yeah. Have we had the moment yet where Stoic gives Hiccup the helmet? Or is that right here?
I think that's later. Gosh, Steven, why aren't you paying attention to the movie?
I am paying attention to the movie. I just don't
you're
know
clearly
things.
talking through it, Steven. What the heck are you doing? You don't talk through movies.
Hey, look at what you're doing right now. You're talking through a movie.
Sir, what I am doing and what you are doing are two completely different things.
Two completely different things, huh?
I'm
Hey,
paying attention.
Guys, we know the name of the podcast is Men Who Talk to Movies, right?
Well, not when you put it that way. I had to explain to my girlfriend who wanted to join. I was about to say, I'm sorry, babe. You're not a man. And she's like, yeah, but there's man and woman. And I'm like,
yeah. Oh, wait. Are we allowed to talk about that? Talk about why? Are we not going to have women on the podcast?
I
Hey,
thought
look,
it was obvious. I thought it was obvious. The type, it's men. I'm just saying.
I have told multiple ladies at this point, if they want to start up a sister podcast, we will cross promote and we will help boost it up. I will give as much, but no, nobody's done it.
No one's done it. The closest that it's come to was my girlfriend and another one of her acquaintances was saying we should start our own podcast talking through their podcast. And I was like, yeah, make a podcast called Women Who Talk Through Podcasts.
Incredibly meta.
No, what the proper title would be Women Who Talk Through Men Who Talk Through Movies.
Too much. That's too much. Okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be, it's a pretty good title. Oh, it's taken. It's not
taken.
No, it's not taken.
Nobody
would take that. Nobody would take that unless they know this very specific niche, tiny podcast.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I love that face.
Has an idea.
Here come the wings.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, I think that's gonna work pretty good. She's like, look out.
Nyom! Hiccup as they're launching. I made a mistake!
You gotta open it, mate.
It's still weird hearing you say mate.
I see Australia has changed Josh for the better.
Look, I mean, it's been almost 4 years, so.
Has it really?
It has been.
Dang.
Indeed. I was telling this to Blake earlier, but the last time I was in the U.S. was for the wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Wild.
Man, it's so sad how he's so helpless still.
Mm-hmm.
But they're getting there. They're taking steps together.
The movie takes a definite uptake in speed at this point.
Yes.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really changes pace because now you're gonna have a sort of a story A and story B, where story A is him and Toothless developing their relationship, and the B side is him with the other Vikings as they learn to fight dragons. He learns how to understand them more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say something very similar. You get this juxtaposition between the two sides. As soon as you finish a moment with one, you get another moment with the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the contrast, and we're not quite there yet, but you begin to see as the relationship between Toothless and Hiccup develops, then his ability to
outsmart,
disarm the dragons, comes into play. And so you see the blending of it. But right now, it's just like you have the dangerous fighting of the dragons on one side, and then you have the potential of friendship on the other. And they just do it so well, I think.
Yeah.
So they pick such good times to flip the two.
the pacing of this movie is just so well thought out.
I
Because
was just about to say that because like I do not think this is like an ill-paced movie. I think this movie is paced perfectly.
yes,
And so few movies can get that right.
yeah, you either get movies like The Last Airbender where it's too fast paced, or what was the one I was complaining about fairly recently that was way too slow? I felt like The Dark Knight Rises was too slow.
It definitely is.
It is a slow movie.
Yeah, and it's
It
like
takes too much time.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like it delivers really well, but it's like there's so much space in between that
Yep.
it just kind of drags its feet.
Mhm.
But this movie really does have it doesn't take itself too seriously or too comedically. It really knows what it is, and it takes itself the way that it needs to.
Right. Oh man, we're so close to like the best scene in the entire movie.
Is it the first flight?
Yeah, test flight.
Yes, because I was about to say something about that. That every movie that has a first flight moment that I've seen has done it very well,
Mhm.
in my opinion. One being
Yeah.
this movie, the moment in Man of Steel where Clark flies for the first time. I think that's a very well done moment.
Mm-hmm. Every
Yeah.
Superman movie has one.
Harry flying on his broom for the first time is a well done moment.
I mean,
Could be better,
could
but
be better.
not the worst thing.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll give it to you.
I never am wrong, Blake.
You know, I think we've
That's
made
not
Go
like
both ways.
8 references to Harry Potter at this point in the podcast.
So what I'm hearing is a Harry Potter podcast.
That moment just before when he's with the other Vikings,
Mhm.
it's this odd moment where he finally is sort of getting everything he ever wanted, the acceptance of the group, but then he opts out of it
Yeah,
for the newfound relationship with the dragon that he has.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like even this moment here, it's like, oh, everybody likes him now. Oh,
And
except for
Astrid's
Astrid.
getting jealous.
She's still pissed at him because now he's somehow he's tricking the system that they made. You know, he's winning in another way.
Yeah.
Right. It's like your
Oh yeah,
your
hiding
teacher
the
in school.
books.
It's like your teacher in school who was always like, you have to do it this way. It doesn't matter if you still got the same answer. It doesn't even matter if you showed your work. You have to do it this way.
Yeah.
And Hiccup's
But
like,
I
no, I'm
suck
gonna do
at
it.
math, Mrs. Professor Teacher. Just let me do it the way I understand. Sorry, that was personal.
Yeah, that
personal.
seems like really, man. Where'd that come
If you
from,
could just
dude?
keep that bottled up inside,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
seriously.
I'm sorry. You're,
Here it is. Here it is.
Here it is. Everyone, stop
Oh,
talking.
man.
All right,
wait,
Blake,
man.
this is your baby here, so you go for it.
Well, we're almost there.
Oh.
They're just testing right now, but they're
Right.
about to do it. But yeah, so okay, so this is a good moment to talk about the score because this song called "Test Flight" has become like one of the anthems of like any kind of excitement and stuff. It's been in a lot of different what do you call it, like compilations recently of exciting movie scores and things like that. But the guy who wrote the score, he was a composer for a while. I mean, probably his first really well-known film was Shrek. He composed Shrek, but Shrek was also like a movie with a great soundtrack and not just a great, a score.
Yeah.
So a lot of people remember the songs in the movie more than the score itself.
Right.
And he had a few other big things along the way.
It's John Powell, right?
Yeah.
It's John Powell, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
not know that.
But this is definitely his most well-known and most beloved.
It is my second favorite soundtrack, second only to Batman Begins.
I do think John Powell is one of my favorite composers because I'm going through some of the movies he's done and got a good track list.
Oh yeah.
He does. He does. He has a great track list. He's got some kind of clunkers in there.
Yeah.
But he has some really good ones as well. So it's kind of balances out.
Yeah. But he is definitely more well known for this movie series.
Yes. But it's just this test drive score embodies so much about the movie. Here it is.
Here it
Here
is.
we are.
I would say
Yeah.
stop talking, but we got to talk through it.
Yeah. So, and it embodies not only a great like the sound of the culture. It brings in the bagpipes and the other things, but he encompasses what this means for their relationship,
Mhm.
especially in the moment of crisis where the paper goes off the window or out in the wind, and they have to decide what's going to happen, and he has to just go with instinct, and
Yep.
it's not just, oh man, I'm going to fall off this dragon. It's this dragon will be trapped wherever I fall off too, so we've got to make a decision fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, and it solidifies that moment of their relationship, like that full trust.
Yeah.
And as an audience member watching it, not knowing what's going to happen for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But when you see, like, oh, this is cute. He's trying to learn. It's like test driving a car. Oh, that's cute. Then the paper goes away and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I'm freaking out. What's going to happen? Are they going to be okay? Even though you should know they're going to be okay. There's still an hour left of the movie. I mean, come on.
I love how excited he's getting here. This is the face that Atomic has when he's running. Our dog, our Greyhound Atomic, whenever he's running, that's the face that he makes.
Yeah, and so here we are. They're both falling. They've been separated. So it's like he can't steer. Toothless can't steer himself, and Hiccup really can't steer himself. And so it's like, how is this going to work? So it's a very, I mean, and like we said, the music just adds so much to the intensity of the scene. And the beauty of the scene. And so you start off and it's like, oh, it's so wonderful, and then it's super intense, and now you're just in it. If you weren't in the movie before then, now you're in it.
Yeah.
This is the moment where you're like, I'm not invested, but now I'm invested.
Yeah. And you feel the intent, the way that they frame this with the quick snaps here and there, back and forth between scenes, it makes you feel like you're actually there on top of him writing. That sounded really awkward the way I said that, and I can't take it back.
Then he burned off his eyebrows. So funny. Like, I would rather not have regurgitated fish, but thanks.
No, Mikey.
What is your guys' favorites of the less important dragons?
Oh, less important. Great.
Oh, that scene is so good.
Yeah. I do think that these little guys are my favorite because they're just so squirrely.
Yeah.
Okay, you win.
Yeah.
Not so fibrous on the inside. Hilarious.
I would say, I guess, my favorite of the non-important dragons, I guess, would be... Would you count the dragons that the other kids ride at the end?
Yes.
Less important? Okay, because I know, later in the series, when they all become dragon riders, they're kind of important, so... But I would say Astrid's dragon, honestly.
The one with the big head, small body?
Yeah, and the teal blue horns. Yeah.
I like the one that Rough Nut and Tough Nut ride, the two-headed one.
Yeah.
That's got the smoke and the spark. That one's my favorite. It's like sneaky in the fact that it's gonna set you on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another good one is the one the other guy, the cool guy,
Is this
of the bike.
That's the dragon that lights itself on fire, right?
Maybe, but I just like it because his horns are like a motorcycle.
Yes.
It's like
a Harley.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, the only one left is the one that the fat Viking rides, and that's not my favorite one. So I'll have to double up.
No, that's not the question. The question was, which is your favorite? And if it's not your favorite, then
I do think I like that. I think I like the two-headed one because I think that the method of that one breathing fire is closest to like what mythology would say. Dragons light fire, like they have two what's the word? Not valves.
Glands?
They have two glands, yeah, in the back of their throat. One releases the liquid or the gas, and the other one ignites it.
Yeah.
That's such a cool like method.
It seems like this movie tries to stick really closely to those mythologies that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we haven't talked about this yet, but like, how interesting is it that in this movie, the dragons have like ammo almost.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got 3 shots, you got 4 shots,
Yeah.
and that's it. And the Vikings know that and then use it against them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, most of the time in other myths or in other portrayals of dragons, like we've already brought it up, so it's fresh in my mind. Like in Harry Potter, it's just I can blow fire and I can blow fire and I can blow fire for as long as I want. But in this, it's different, and it makes the portrayal of dragons, whether it's hopefully more mythologically accurate, but it makes it more intriguing.
Yeah.
It makes the dragons more interesting.
Yeah.
And speaking
By the
of
way, it's
mythology-
boob cap.
This whole scene, I know, I've just been like the whole.
Yeah, he's boob
It's
cap.
half her breastplate, matching set, and it's his helmet and.
Yeah.
But I'm talking
Here
about
is one
mythology.
half of what held up your mother's wreck. One of them is significantly larger than the other.
Yeah, but he actually uses it, you know.
That's true.
Talking about by the mythology of this movie, just the last scene alone, just them saying, you know, oh, Thor Almighty, Odin, you know, using the Norse mythology gods, because, you know, that is this culture. Just really interesting to see.
Oh, the disappointment.
Oh yeah, like
Nah,
that.
done.
That's the face of defeat.
Son of a half.
Son of a half-troll rat eating, and I didn't get the rest.
That's a
Munch
great
bucket.
munch bucket.
Ah, thank
That's a
you,
Great,
thank you.
Great insult. Are you watching this without the subtitles?
Josh, I dare you to attempt the accent.
Oh no, I can't even do the Australian accent, and I've lived here.
Oh, there's certain words, dude, that you say that are very Aussie.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
He said Aussie, not awesome.
Aussie. I'm gonna say it like a Z.
Ozzy
that's true.
Osbourne.
Aussie. You know, you just have to sort of mumble more things, and shorten every word that is long, and then you've got it.
Gotcha.
Is this the scene? Oh yeah, where she catches him.
Oh, sure. There's nothing intimidating about an angry woman sharpening a blade.
Nope.
Wow.
Sitting above you.
Yes.
Oh, that's where it becomes terrifying. You forgot that point, Steven.
Yeah.
It better not involve this.
You're right.
So all of us who've seen the movie, like we know that we know where this is leading. They're gonna have this moment where, you know, they fight, and then they're gonna have this moment of realization, and then they're gonna start flirting and whatnot. This reminded me of a story.
Oh, really, Steven? A story. You
Oh,
say.
really? Yes.
Oh, really? A story you say?
Yes, a real to life story.
A
So
real to life. Story.
Yes.
So fiction. No,
So-
nonfiction.
so there.
It's still so interesting how she still wants to jump in and save him, even though he has been defeating all of them for probably weeks at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that shows like how intense like their view of him was. Like he's the crippled one. Like, okay, if you're
I love
not
how he
coming
just
with
doesn't
me,
care. He just leaves.
Yeah.
what a pouty crybaby.
Good. No one's good. Toothless is like, good.
Yeah,
No one's
there
going
you
to
go.
steal
Yeah.
my owner.
Just gotta have a little talk before you go back.
Yeah. But I was having this conversation back when I was in high school, and there was this guy in the youth group, and he was. This is how the conversation went. Okay, we were at camp, and he was flirting with literally every woman that moved. And so this is what he told me, and he thought he was giving me really good advice. He said, "Okay, dude, so like when you're walking, and then there's this girl, and she's walking the other way. So you're both walking, and you're walking towards each other, okay? Okay. And when you're
This is already
walking,
going to a very bad place.
when you're walking, you pass by each other, okay? You walk past each other, still walking opposite directions, okay? Now, if while you're walking away, you turn around to look at her, and while she's walking, she turns around and looks back at you, and you're both looking at each other, that means you're attracted to each other.
Wow.
Wow. This guy has clearly never been on a real date.
Great.
You know what's bad, guys? You know what's bad though? Being in the same youth group as Steven, I can't pinpoint which guy it was because multiple guys in our youth group would have given us that advice.
We had one guy in our youth group that was at the movie theaters on a date, got in the car, drove around the block one time, and then went on another date with another girl at the same theater.
Wow.
You know who that one is, don't you, Jeb?
I think so.
You do then.
Yep.
What a punk.
Oh,
See,
here
now
go.
we get the
The
almost
perfect moment.
opposite as before. Before it was like pretty and then intense, and then it was like now it was like intense and now it's pretty.
Yeah.
With the music.
Oh, yeah, the score is
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Sorry, as someone who plays an instrument, that's my favorite aspect to listen to in a movie.
And that's
Like-
that's the thing. Like visuals can move you. A good script, a good story can move you, and good music can move you. But like you put it all together,
Mhm.
do all three good at the same time, and you have something really special.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes a great film, but also makes this a great film.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
And this is why we've got to get better. We as Christians, we got to get better about making good entertainment. And this is
Yes.
anyone
I
that's
agree.
been around me and Jeb for a period of time. Like we talk about this probably every 2 weeks. But there's
And now with this podcast every month.
yes, there seems to be like this gap when it comes to Christians in entertainment. They feel like they have to be so preachy all of the time. And like, I get, that we've got a message to teach, but can we do it while making something that people actually want to watch?
Yep. And I forget which video I was watching. I might have sent it to you, Steven, because like you said, we talk about this topic every 2 weeks or so.
Mhm.
Christian movies are not movies. They are sermons.
Hmm.
They are either
With a
sermons
storyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're either sermons with a message, or they're saying atheism is bad and we're being persecuted. And
Mhm.
people wonder why people don't like Christians, because we get movies like God's Not Dead, or other like pure flicks films, and they show Christians in a bad light to the secular world.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Christians might see those pure flex movies and be like, oh, look at those Christians, they're doing it right and they're doing it well, and I'm just like, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is they're not good sermons.
No.
Nope.
They're really poor sermons.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say stuff that's not even in the Bible, and so it's not even like something where it's good enough for me to want to show a non-Christian friend and say, let's watch this together, and I'd love your thoughts. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There's been a few films in recent years that I've heard are trying to break the mold. One was that I Can Only Imagine, I think was one,
Mhm.
and then there was another one, and then there's a new one, and it's not really a Christian film as much as it is a film about a guy who is a strong, outspoken Christian, and it's a football player. It's about a story of a football player, and it stars Zachary Levi. And again, the name of the film escapes me right now. But apparently, it was kind of a breath of fresh air in that way. But we have to do better about making things that, like you said, point people to the gospel, but make them actually want to see it.
Yeah.
As much as I have my issues with it, The Chosen is one of the best things recently that Christians have put out that actually point people towards the person and work of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I have my issues with it, but it's watchable. It's good. I've had Christians and non-Christians alike say, this is interesting. If this is the Jesus that you talk about or worship or close to the one about the Bible, I might be interested in that. And I don't know if there's any Christian movies in the past few years, 10 years, 15 years, that I can really point to that do that to a non-believer.
There's some secular movies that do a good job of telling the Christian message. Like, I think
Right?
yeah.
Right? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Steven.
Go for it.
When secular movies get it better than Christian movies, that is a problem. Sorry.
You want to... If you want a good one that actually...
You're going to distort the audio.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But
media is something I love and want to work with, but when I see Christian media as stuff like God's Not Dead and poor Pure Flix movies, it makes me want to cringe and yell at Christian Hollywood, because that is not Christian Hollywood. That is just bad Christian sermons.
Yep.
Sorry.
So compressor for sure on that.
Oh, I got a compressor and a hard limit set on it.
I am passionate. Steven knows. Steven knows when I get passionate.
Gate on there.
vocal.
Great.
Yes.
I get
No,
vocal and loud.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great that you're passionate about it. Eh?
Yeah.
It's good. We need people like that.
Yeah.
Out
That's
there.
why I want to go into, like, I know I'm called into youth ministry and I will serve in the youth ministry as long as God will call me, but I want to make Christian content, good Christian content. Their people will look at it and talk about it for years to come, like Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia.
Hacksaw Ridge.
I want to make a story that makes an impact, because I'm tired of the stories that are leaving the impact now.
Yeah. I agree. And I think that we've got the opportunity to do it. I think that we've got to get out of this old school culture of how we preach and teach, because it's not reaching people. I mean, like, and one thing that I've been going through recently is, like, if these older churches want to reach the youth, then you need to deal with the issues that are actually in these youth's lives. What's the number one question they're facing right now? The LGBTQ movement. We're at I think we're at like 20% of Generation Z identify as it. That means that there's 20% of the youth now that if you're not addressing, or if you're alienating them right away, you're missing 20% of the youth of the next generation. We have to be better about doing this. This isn't an option. Like, if you're not reaching that group, you're not only losing the 20%, you're losing the other 40% that will leave if the 20% leaves. It's the number one. It's the number one thing that we've got to get better about addressing. And it's gonna have to be more than just putting like a statement out in our statement of beliefs. We actually have to interact with them in a way that they can walk in the doors to visit and want to come back.
Yep.
Yeah. Emily and I recently, my wife and I recently started kind of connecting with a barista at our local coffee shop, and she showed some interest in church and spoken about it with us, and we invited her to come join us one Sunday, or at least the topic came up, and she said, "Is your church LGBTQ affirming?" And I wasn't around. Emily was there, and she basically said, "Well, no, not affirming. But you know, we welcome anyone. Why do you ask?" And so we got into this conversation, and she's part of the LGBTQ community, and it became pretty clear quickly that a visit on like a Sunday morning wasn't going to be a good first step for her into this relationship, or at least maybe into her reintroduction to church. And she was just like, I just want somewhere that's open, and I want somewhere that's lets me be free to ask questions. And we're like, well, why don't we do like meet up and just talk and have a Bible study, or you can You can send us questions. You can message us or text us, and we can talk. Because people who are part of that group, they want to be able to ask questions that a lot of times in at least traditional churches, and I think most of us grew up in Baptist churches, it feels, whether they would admit it or not, it feels wrong to ask them. No, you can't ask that question because that's X, Y, and Z. That makes doubt appear, or that whatever, or we know that's wrong, and that's in the Bible, so we're just going to say the Bible says so, and that's it. Like, well, life's a little more complicated than that sometimes,
and
we need to give people space to think about it.
Yeah, and it's not sufficient for them. They keep asking questions.
Well, I mean, you think about it, and it's not a sufficient answer. It's not enough to just say, that it's, the Bible says it's wrong, so therefore we just put that blanket statement on there, because for them there's more depending on it than just the question whether it's right or wrong. They've built their lives around that question, and it's unfortunately it's just not enough to just say, oh no, it's wrong, so don't do it. There's more at stake for them.
Yeah, and me, Blake, and Steven did a mock capstone for one of Blake's friends, and he was asking a question about a similar topic, and I just told him, look, the church doesn't really teach this, but that's because, and as I told Steven this multiple times, our generation has to fix the mistakes of the previous generation, and that means we're going to have to treat the LGBTQ community differently than how the previous generation did. And I just told this guy who was asking these questions during this mock capstone we have to love them where they are. We don't need to tell them they're wrong. We don't need to affirm what they're doing. We just need to love them where they are. And I think
that's exactly right.
This I think is a nice segue into what is happening in the movie right now, where prejudice and former lifestyles and how tradition has led is keeping them blind from what could be with what Hiccup was trying to show them. And that is exactly what goes on with the church. Tradition and prejudice and how things used to be is keeping, I will say it, us of this previous generation from being able to make a change because they are so stuck in their ways.
For once in your life, would you please just listen to me?
Case in point.
I love that they put that line in there too, because I mean that's really just what the big request is here. Just listen. Yep. And I've kind of been going over this recently. We've had a generation that's been so focused on getting knowledge and having knowledge, not just of scripture, but of things going on in the culture. But when you really get to talking with them about these things, they don't entirely understand it. They don't understand this is why your students are struggling with how they feel about the opposite sex or the same sex. They don't have an understanding of why and how and what things lead them to this. And that's why I've kind of been stressing recently, understanding is greater than just knowledge. You can have knowledge all day long, but if it doesn't come with a deeper understanding and a desire to understand, it's really not going to take you much of anywhere.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think a lot of what I've sort of discovered out here has been, in specifically because my background is from, Georgia and stuff. A lot of what they tell people is like, oh, you want to be a pastor? Ergo, we're going to pack you off to seminary and fill your head with knowledge, but we're not going to give you experience in the real church.
Yeah.
Or with real people. And you and Blake and Steven especially, who are, you are working as pastors and who have had that background, I'm sure that you understand that while the knowledge is good, it's not enough. There's something more that you need, which is the experience and the understanding, I think.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's so much more valuable than having, a smattering of biblical languages and the last 400 or 500 years of theology.
I found it interesting when I was in Bible college that our missions majors had to spend X amount of time on the mission field
Yep.
practicing before they could graduate. But as pastors, we had to like preach a certain amount for preaching class, but there was no like real practical in the trenches training that we had, like a missionary might have on a certain number of long-term trips or something, to prepare us for the calling / vocation that we were supposed to be stepping into, and they were preparing us for. I found that very interesting, and longed for it once I stepped into my first vocational role.
Yeah. And I think I think it could be as simple as, like shadow a pastor, and I know a lot of what pastors do is make calls and visit people and talk to them, in addition to, of course, the administrative roles of keeping a church functioning weekend to weekend. But yeah, I think a lot of what you need to do is just learn how to listen to people, learn how to visit with people and talk to people.
Yeah.
I want to bring us back to the movie. I think 5 or 6 minutes ago, it was just really interesting how just at the moment where they almost overcame the problem, the biggest conflict that the beginning of the movie introduced, which was, man versus dragons. You have that scene where he's flying with Astrid, and they kind of surpass that problem, and then they very quickly introduce the bigger conflict, which is, there's this alpha dragon now that we have to sort of figure out. And then even after that is, there's a deeper level of conflict between Hiccup's new ideology and his father's unwillingness to bend his beliefs, which I think it's really interesting how they introduce a new problem in a very smooth way.
Yes. Because everyone can see what's going on, but it's not an immediate fix. Like, people need to be convinced. They need to not only see with their own eyes, but they need to wrestle with this within themselves. Like, the kids who've not had as much time drenched in this way of life are more willing to change than these old dogs who've been doing this for years and years and years.
Yeah, which you can see it there reflect, like the younger crowd is pretty ready,
Yeah.
They're keen to try out something new.
And that's the thing, like, they've watched Hiccup succeed in what he's doing more than even the other adults. They might have heard about it, but they haven't watched it happen in the same way. And so for him to come and say, this is why this is happening, and plot twist or a newsflash, I haven't fought any dragons. I'm not injured. I'm just learning a new thing.
Yeah.
I understand them, right?
Yeah.
And they go, okay, well, whatever we're doing works, so let's try.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to take advantage of the young and impressionable, but it's important to expose them to truths and experiences as is healthy, so they don't buy into a bunch of crazy stuff, like the idea of kangaroos being real.
Yeah, have you seen any kangaroos?
I'm sure.
Of course.
Nah, you lie. You lie through your teeth.
Kangaroos are myths.
They are myth. So, Blake, I don't know if you've heard this, but this has been a debate going on for a while. We have come to realize that kangaroos are not real, and Josh over here is a kangaroo propagandist, and we have not been able to get him to recant.
Oh man, your mind will be open when you first pet a kangaroo.
Mine will open.
They're just really big koalas. Stop calling them kangaroos.
Jeb, what the crap? That is an old theory.
Oh.
You are so out of step. Okay, let me set the record straight. Okay, here, Blake.
Okay,
Blake, you're listening, right?
I'm very much listening and not watching the movie.
Also, by the way, as a short little thing here, I find it funny how they are acting like they've got this big battle plan, but their plan ends up just being, let's just rush in and break stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna Throw rocks at the big wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock at the big wall.
You're gonna take your flank up the middle.
While we're at
Yes.
it, while
Yeah.
we're deviating from this very, very
Yes.
important topic of fake kangaroos.
Yes. So here's
The
Sorry, that visual.
A lot of dragons.
the depth of this conflict that we're talking about. It even comes down to like their names. Like his name is Stoic the Vast.
yeah.
Like that is his name. That is his title.
Mm.
And then you have his son, Hiccup. You know, like even their names point to the kind of depth of their character, who they see themselves to be, who they've made themselves to be. But the beauty of it is that the Hiccup, the guy that's different from everybody else. Everybody else is normal, and then you have this kid who's the Hiccup in the normal. His name is funny.
Yeah.
But he changes everything, shakes it up. That even Stoic the Vast, the great dragon slayer, would possibly consider changing.
Yeah.
But we're not quite there yet.
Oh guys, hello.
Fear
My name is Greg. I heard some noise. I thought I would come see what you guys are doing.
Why'd you throw rocks at my front door?
I'm just wanting to. Oh, those are some cool toys. I want to play. Let me play. I'm sorry I broke it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break it. Really. I'm sorry. My allergies, dudes. It's been a rough couple of weeks of spring and
Painting it
whatnot.
like it's an accident this whole time.
Toothless is over here like, sorry for your allergies. Can you please blow them somewhere else?
So yes, anyways, Blake, you need to understand this because there's been so much false kangaroo propaganda information spread out there, and I need to get you up to date, okay?
All right,
So
fill me in.
here's what happened, okay? So back in the early 1920s and 30s, there was this movement where little people, midgets is politically incorrect now, we say little people, they were looking for work and they found... Yeah, and it's little people, Jeb.
Dwarves.
You intolerant prick. It is little people.
Okay, well...
and then Jeb is wondering why he's the problem.
So, looking for work, they found a place in Hollywood, and they ended up working for Wizard of Oz. And there's plenty of work for all, and they had a thriving career in Hollywood for years and years and years until the end of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay? As soon as that movie ended, they noticed a change. They noticed less roles becoming available, less things that they were able to do. Well, then they heard that this guy, Peter Jackson, was doing some movies over in New Zealand. And so they all pack up and they go to New Zealand. And while they're in New Zealand, they realize something. Hey, that dwarf is being played by John Rhys Davis. He's like 6 foot right now. Okay, well, there's still some Hobbit roles. We'll go over to the Hobbits. It's Elijah Wood, who's 5'5". They were completely replaced by tall people altogether. And so they're out of work and they're desperate. Well, they get a call, you see. They get a call from these zookeepers in Australia who have these failing zoos because people are realizing that capybaras are not all that interesting. And so then they invent this type of animal, the kangaroo, with this. It's a fursuit with a springy tail, and it allows them to be able to have jobs. It brings a great source of income.
If you're making this all up on the spot, I'm heavily impressed. This sounds like a real conspiracy theory.
You see, if it sounds real enough to be a conspiracy theory, then it's at least possible of being true.
I have to add for the audience who are gullible enough to believe this, Steven does believe in kangaroos. Don't let him fool you.
I do not believe in kangaroos. Kangaroos are fake.
Kangaroos. Oh, goodness.
Stop poking me in the eye. He's hurt and he needs help.
That's a solid joke right there.
What?
I don't know. It's just really simple. Like, oh, hey, you got something in your eye? As he's like bashing his hammer into his eye. I'm a simple man. I like simple jokes, you know?
Yeah. This is true. This is true.
Oh no, toothless.
This, I think, is honestly
actual
like
moments of real tension, you know?
Yeah, I find this the scariest moment of the movie because it's like I think there are very few like sensations that are as terrifying as drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One of the great fears we all have, whether we admit it or not. Some people are like, "Well, I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of dying." It's like, I think we're all afraid of drowning.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay,
such a,
that's a good that's a great moment. Like that Stoic has changed his tune when he dives back into the water for Toothless.
Yeah.
And then there's that moment where they have to face each other and trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this right here, I think, is really cool too because I realized it last time I was going through it. This movie gives really solid parental advice. It gives you really good advice on how to understand teenagers, how to interact with them. And especially that moment right there, it's like he's handing off the torch.
Yeah.
He's been the stoic, he's been the leader, and he realizes his faults now, and so he hands it off to the leader that's effective.
Yeah.
Yep. Jesus models that for us, right? There's a time to teach,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a time to lead, and then there's a time to send. You disciple, you teach, and then you equip, and then you send out to also do. And that's kind of the ultimate goal of parenting, that you would raise up children well and equip them to succeed on their own, and then send them off to be their own person because they are their own person. And so it's such a great example of healthy parenthood and family.
Yeah.
And it shows that picture of it, like maybe kids don't realize it, though it's almost a crime to try to call this a kids movie because it's just such a great film. But
sorry, I'll let you finish your thought and I'll get on that tangent.
But
the fact that they animated camera shaking into the equation is so good.
Dude, that's crazy.
So good. But for kids to be able to see the struggle of a parent to let their child become a young adult in this case, I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeb.
I hate, and I cannot stress this enough, guys.
Jeb hates a lot today.
I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. We've talked about topics that really get my blood boiling. And like Blake said, when people call this a kid's movie, why don't you just call it an animated film? Stop calling animated films kids movies. It is a medium to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Not all cartoons are for children. Not all.
But I think that mentality has only surfaced in the last 10 years. Because like this movie came out in 2010. I think that the concept of, animated movies that adults enjoy watching, that didn't really surface until
I would
later
say
in the past
years.
decade. Yeah.
I would say
around
20
the same time.
And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeb, but I think that some of this comes from anime, because I think anime has been on the films for adult train a lot longer than we have in the States.
Yeah.
Or in the Western world, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, because like you had a couple of years ago, the big anime that really changed like the face of the genre was a show called Berserk. It was at the time the darkest and most intense show or manga in the genre, and it became like the influence for all of the darker shows that would follow.
Yeah. And I just really hate when a really good animated something, like I showed Lindsay, my girlfriend, Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time.
Mm.
I knew her tone. Like I knew how she was going to fall in love with the series. Start off by saying, oh, it's cute, whatever. It's a cute kid's show, whatever. But as the series goes on, she would see this is not just a kid's show. And I'm like, correct. And I hate that when people say that about animation or whatnot. It's, oh, it's just for kids. And it's like, some things, yes. Paw Patrol is for kids. Bluey is for children. This movie is not just for kids. Avatar: The Last Airbender, not just for kids. Phineas and Ferb, fight me on this one. It's not just for kids.
I will
Phineas and
fight
Ferb,
with you.
oh, what a
Anyone
show.
who says that.
Agreed,
What a show.
and I would argue its superior successor, Milo Murphy's Law. At first,
I've not seen it, so I can't say anything.
I thought it was pretty good, but then me and Brenna watched it all the way through, and I do think it's better than Phineas and Ferb. It's so good.
Interesting.
I do think Phineas and Ferb has repetitive motifs, which makes it more of a kid's show, but I do agree that it can be enjoyed by adults.
To be fair, though,
Yeah.
most shows have repetitive motifs.
But that one is very much in your face repetitive. I mean, to the point where in season 3, it's like the characters themselves are saying, wow, this summer has just gone on forever.
And
it feels like
That's
it's
just being
4
meta,
years.
though.
What was the
That's
episode
meta.
where they like
Breaking the
suggest
fourth
something and it's
wall.
like, have we done that before? I don't think we've done that
Yeah.
yet.
Breaking the fourth wall and being meta, though, is different than repetitive motifs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when I binge watch a show, when I know it so well because of commercial breaks, because of the repetitive motifs, I can be like, oh yeah, it's about to go black for a commercial break. Or like shows like NCIS where there is clearly a transition for the commercial.
Oh, of
You know?
course. Yeah. Like it's designed around the commercial break. Yeah. Oh, yes. There he is.
What a moment.
Now, here's something I love about this ending. Okay, so it looks like it's got the stereotypical everything is perfect at the end of the movie, except it's not. And we're about to get to that. It's
Steven, what are you talking about? He's alive and everyone's happy. And now there's a new age of dragon and Viking friendship.
oh yeah, there's
And friends are my power cliches. And now Toothless can have an owner and Hiccup can have a pet, which is something he wanted this whole movie. And Stoic understands his son, and Hiccup gets the girl. See, he's just bruised. He's fine.
yes, that's right. There's definitely nothing that's happening in the next 60 seconds that's going to totally break the perfect ending.
Steven,
Did
if you want,
Did you not hear the moment where he said, well, most of them at least?
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that just means, those cuts and bruises. He's fine.
It's the scars from the experience, Blake.
Oh, see, a few broken ribs. He's fine. He's
Yeah.
in his house. He's fine. And Toothless is there. Everything is happy.
This
see,
is-
look how happy he is.
This is Atomic every morning.
And there
See,
it is.
Steven, I
Oh.
don't know what you're talking about. Steven, see, still everything's happy. He's just, he's just all
You're ruining the moment. Just shut
Well,
up.
I'm talking through a movie like I'm sold to, Josh. I'm sorry. Look, oh. I see now. I see your point.
This guy.
I love that they included that as well, because like it is something to like really grieve over, and people who've lost limbs, like it's a big deal. That's part of you that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a huge break in the perfect story ending, but it was enough to set up what would happen in the next movie.
Movies,
Yes, but especially in the second one.
Yeah.
And we won't spoil it here. But introducing
It's
that.
not too much of a break because we're used to seeing the other characters, especially the older ones.
Yeah.
Missing limbs, missing teeth.
Right. But it's enough to let you know that, like, oh, this is actually dangerous, and they will do stuff to these characters.
Yeah.
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 And again, like you mentioned, I love that they had the moment of him losing a limb. Is that it's real?
Yeah.
Like in a situation like this, that could be a possibility. And DreamWorks had the guts to be like, "Yep, we're going for it."
Pretty much.
I like those moments here where you have the reflection of things.
Mhm.
Like when at the beginning of the film, like, I need a little less of this. And he's like, you just gestured to all of me. It's like, yeah. And then now, you get like the opposite where Stoic said we just needed a little bit more of this.
Yeah.
We needed more of you.
And then I love how this parallels the beginning.
Yes.
Where again, like he narrates, he describes Burke, and just he describes the change that happened.
Yeah. And he calls, and interesting, like they call the dragons pets.
Yep.
Which is basically a big middle finger to PETA.
I hope.
But I
people
feel
know.
like I don't know. Man, the pets thing kind of throws it off for me. Because I feel like they're more in a partnership. Because the dragons still have every ability to just annihilate them if they want to.
This is true. It's kind of like, I mean, that's true with a lot of like bigger dogs, especially. Like, I mean, Atomic's got the muscle that if he felt the need or the compulsion to do it, like he could really hurt us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
And
this
I feel
willful
like,
submission.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Toothless is Hiccup's pet. In
Yeah.
only that Toothless cannot fly unless Hiccup is riding him.
Right.
But I feel like the other dragons, it does operate more like a partnership.
Yeah.
And I think that the movie even builds that up, like Hiccup, sure, he can operate the tail wing, but he needs to work with Toothless in order to truly fly him, in the best way.
Yeah. Well, all right, ladies and
by the
gentlemen.
way,
What?
has anyone read the How to Train Your Dragon novels?
No, but
I
I
have
want to
not,
so
and
badly.
I thought this was based off of a book, but
Is it
like
a
It's based off a series,
film, or is
and
it-
they're very interesting books, but they're very different from the films. Toothless talk in the books.
oh,
Really?
It's very strange.
That is kind of weird.
Is it a
It's one of those-
novelization?
Yeah, they're novels.
Right, but
it's not a novelization of the film.
the
novel
books came first.
Okay, so the movie is based on existing IP. Okay.
Because
Yes.
I thought before this movie came out, one of my really good friends from elementary school was reading the books. But like when this movie came out, like there was no based on the best-selling novel or whatnot.
Right.
And I was like, that's why I was so confused. I was like, I'm pretty sure, like, because I've seen nothing about the book. So I was like, I'm pretty sure this was a book, guys. And no one was like, nope, these weren't books, man. And I'm like, no,
It's one of the rare moments where I prefer the film lore versus the books. The books are just kind of, I don't know, they don't do it for me.
Yeah. I feel that way sometimes with Lord of the Rings, going back and forth. Sometimes the movies are better, sometimes the books are better. It just depends.
What? No.
All right,
no.
I tell you what. I tell you, look, hey, we're we're gonna do Lord of the Rings eventually, okay?
extended.
No, we do no.
Hey,
Can you
we
imagine?
we struggled through Batman Begins. We are not gonna tackle 4 hours of film 3 times in a row.
Did fine. We did fine.
I mean, you could just break up Lord of the Rings into the four podcasts, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Potentially.
We did.
Maybe.
I don't know. We should
We'll figure
save
it
this
out.
for after the podcast chat.
Yeah.
Very true.
Alrighty, guys. Well, this has been How to Train Your Dragon. And you guys have any quick closing remarks before we go?
I hope you like the film and our talking was somewhat okay too.
I love doing this, and y'all should listen to us more. Mainly for me. Follow
like
my
the
YouTube,
podcast?
just Jeb Schaefer.
Like and subscribe. Comment up on wherever you can comment.
Yep.
Pass it on.
Yep.
If you like it. If you don't, great.
Great. We love that you don't like it. Yeah, send us hate mail. I will read it to Josh's face.
Shoot, we'll have a segment
Yeah.
before the next movie of Steven reading the hate mail.
Exactly. And if you guys want to support any charities, we have a charity right now for the kangaroo actors. You can go to tallmenforshortrights.com and you can donate there.
Unbelievable.
To clarify for the gullible people, there is no real charity for kangaroos.
That's right. It's for the actors and
I
kangaroos.
feel like it's a little bit rude. You just calling them gullible people.
Trust me, someone would listen to it and be like, I gotta help those poor kangaroo actors. And I have to be like,
I don't think any of the people who are going to listen to this podcast will be like that.
do you know that?
just don't feel like that's our market.
Leave your
you know?
comments below.
Do you know that, Josh? I'm just saying. I gotta make sure.
I really hope that at this point in the podcast, the music for the end post is playing and we're slowly fading out.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Oh, great.
Okay,
Great.
bye.